When I was working on my Doctor of Nursing Practice degree, this became a huge passion to me, and I'll tell you a little bit about why in a moment. But I did all of my research in nursing home facilities, nursing care facilities is what they like to call them, across Missouri, southern Missouri, and northern Arkansas. And I specifically looked at our certified nursing assistant population, the front line of our care. I think oftentimes they get forgotten. And sadly enough, they're the ones who are with our residents more than we are. So I want to discuss some of the consequences of compassion fatigue, and I want to present some ideas to you on how you can better your facilities and make your facility more nourishing. Because in my heart, I believe if we are nourishing our nurses, we're nourishing our ancillary staff, we're nourishing our certified nursing assistants, then in turn, they nourish the residents, they nourish the families, we have better outcomes, less incidents, and you all have an easier job, right? Empathy and compassion is definitely not something that can be learned or taught, and I am so passionate about it because I have lost family members at the hands of professionals who have lost their compassion and were neglectful, etc., and so on and so forth. So I've dedicated my life, like I said in my research, to helping and hopefully empowering you all to make sure that no one else's family has to suffer because of our lack of compassion. I got to know my colleagues on a deep level. At our staff meetings, we don't just talk about business. We talk about each other and our lives and what's going on so that we can help each other and be there for each other. When my mom was in the hospital, my colleagues were the first ones to step up and say, Chelsia, what can we do for you? Can we cover a class for you? Can we bring you a Starbucks to the hospital? Yes. Can we bring you a meal? If they know each other, they love each other, they work better together, they can encourage each other and pick each other up and recognize compassion fatigue within one another before it gets too bad. Step 10, serve your employees. I know many of you probably do this every day, and you need somebody to pour into you. So I would highly encourage finding someone, a mentor that pours into you, because you are service-oriented, because you do love your jobs. You wouldn't be doing this if you didn't. But you serve your employees. If they see you serving, like I saw the lady at the nursing home on the river, in her black suit and her high heels mopping up urine, she was serving her residents, and she was also serving her employees because other people were too busy. But she wasn't too good. She had humility, and she served them. Be present. Walk the halls. Find out what's going on in your organization. My mother, being in the hospital, I'm using this example because it's fresh on my brain and I was just a consumer of healthcare. The chief nursing officer of Cox Medical Center Branson walks the halls every single day. Yes, she does. And I walked out of a room and I was distraught. And the chief nursing officer said, because I do know her, but she would do it for a perfect stranger. But she knew me and she said, what is going on, honey? And I just melted in her arms. Oh, Lynn, you just wouldn't believe what's happened to me. What's going on with my mom, all this. She said, oh, honey, let's talk about it. She's present. Her employees know her. They see her. She's not in an ivory tower up here somewhere looking down, telling them, you do this and you do this and you do this, and I'm the boss. She is present. She is serving. She goes out. She delivers. I've watched her carry a basket of Snickers candy bars. Boy, that's not a healthy treat, but hey, whatever. Hey, it's a good one. Sometimes nurses and CNAs and all of us, we need chocolate, right? So I'm going to step out on a limb here, and I may never be invited back to speak at any other conference in my life. But I want to just say to you my theory and how I, after 16 years now, I say 16 years because I started nursing school when I was 17 years old. I had taken care of my great Aunt Mark as a 16-year-old young lady. She was 84, and I would help her bathe and clean her and wash her and love on her and take her chocolate milkshakes and lay my head in her lap and let her rub my head. And she was a wonderful lady. But I chose nursing very early because I felt like God called me to nursing. And you don't have to believe the same way I believe. You do not have to be bold. I am a bold person, and I'm not afraid. So I was called to nursing, and I believe the nursing is a calling, and I believe this healthcare profession is a calling. And if you treat it as such, then you will reap what you sow, and you'll be rewarded. And so at 17 years old, when I embarked on this career, I said I will give my life to make sure that other people who are laying in their sick beds, who I am looming over their bed, I will honor them with my presence. I will rise in the presence of the aged. I will not treat them with any disrespect, because someday I'm going to be that person laying in that bed. Someday my mama or my daddy, and I will go here really fast. During the writing of my book, I was pregnant, and at 14 weeks pregnant, my father, at 58 years old, died on my 32nd birthday. And I was his nurse in his home. I took care of him. I could have easily fatigued of my compassion, because for 14 weeks of my pregnancy, I vomited from the time I got up till the time I went to bed, and every time I did, I praised Jesus, because I lost 2 babies prior to that. So I would say, thank you, Lord, for a positive pregnancy sign. But I cleaned my daddy's wounds, and I put up with him, and he was a hard man to deal with. He yelled at me, he cursed at me, he screamed at me, he called me names. He wasn't a bad daddy. He just had issues. He was sick. I could have easily said, forget about you, because how many residents do you have like that? They curse, they scream, they kick, they spit. They think they own the organization, and that somebody's out to get them, or they're trying to elope because of dementia or whatever disease process is going on. But you can't give up on them, because they were once somebody's loved one. But I kept serving my dad and serving my dad and serving my dad. And I feel like the reason why I've not fatigued of my compassion is because every day I want to fill up. And I want to fill up so that I can pour into others. And my personal experience, like I said, not pouring it on you and saying that you have to believe this way, but I believe that Jesus Christ is who gives me my strength. And because I have a relationship with Him and He constantly pours into me, then I can in turn, for 16 years of my life, pour into others and not be fatigued.